Nurse Watson, who played a key role. After a brief review of Watson's file to refresh her memory of the nurse's profile, she took her impeccably pressed white coat from the hanger and slipped it on. Another quick check in the mirror, professional smile in place, she headed to the ward. Morning rounds completed by 8:30 a.m., Vera entered the lab. Earlier, she'd praised Nurse Watson's efforts in front of her peers, earning a broad smile as she'd neatly dodged an offered hug. Now she savored the lab's tranquil silence. Julian was the only one present, busy with cages at the far end. Vera settled at her lab table, reviewing the test subjects' records on her computer. The screen listed 15 rats and the dog, each identified by a number. Vera scanned for anomalies. These were her 16th set of specimens, so she knew what to expect. The results had been progressively improving, showing more predictable responses. The dog, on its 8th treatment, was also displaying promising signs. This was her 3rd canine subject and the best one yet. Acquired as a puppy, she and Julian had successfully induced the desired symptoms in the already anxious animal. Soon it would be time for the next phase. At noon, Vera's alarm vibrated, signaling it was time for a quick lunch before the afternoon sessions. She planned to see Holly last, allowing extra time if needed. More time for Richard to leave the house and fly that jumbo jet to wherever he was going. More time for peace to settle in her house. Her house, not his. He wasn't there enough to claim ownership. Vera chewed on her turkey cheese sandwich, barely registering its taste. It might as well have been cardboard, so preoccupied she was in a fantasy of a life without Richard. She quickly dismissed the thought. Divorce was out of the question. It would disrupt the carefully curated image of perfection she maintained. A wave of anger towards him surfaced, but she quelled it with a deep breath. A familiar, futile emotion. It wouldn't do any good. It never had. She locked the computer screen and headed to the therapy room, quickly checking everything was in place for the first session. The afternoon unfolded in a familiar rhythm. Patients entered and left, their identities blurring into numbers and routine questions. Responses were predictable, notes methodically recorded. Amidst this faceless parade, years of watching people trapped in endless loops of hopelessness and fear. But maybe, just maybe, it didn't have to be this way. It was past 5:30 p.m. when Holly entered, escorted by Julian. As usual, her long black hair, streaked with white, hung in a limp, disheveled braid. Her gaze remained fixed on the floor, her movements slow and hesitant as she shuffled to the couch. The usual air of subdued resignation surrounded her, a stark contrast to the clinical efficiency of the room. "Hello, Holly. How are you today?" Vera asked in her calm, professional voice. "Fine, Dr. Burke," came the quiet answer. "Did you sleep well last night? Are the treatments helping?" "Sure, slept okay." "Do you realize, Holly, that we've been working together for nearly 10 years? At that, the woman glanced at her, then lowered her eyes. She'd clasped her hands together in her lap, fingers